everyone. Today we are going to read second part of the chapter 13 Light. What is inside our eyes? We see things only when light coming from them enters our eyes. Eye is one of our most important sense organs. It is therefore important to understand its structure and working. The eye has a roughly spherical shape. The outer coat of the eye is white. It is tough so that it can protect the interior of the eye from accidents. Its transparent front part is called cornea. Behind the cornea, we find a dark muscular structure called iris. In the iris, there is a small opening called the pupil. The size of the pupil is controlled by the iris. The iris is that part of eye which gives it its distinctive color. When we say that a person has green eyes, we refer actually to the color of the iris. The iris controls the amount of light entering into the eye. Let us see how. Caution. For this activity, never use a laser torch. Activity 13.8. Look into your friend's eye. Observe the size of the pupil. Throw light on her eye with a torch. Observe the pupil now. Switch off the torch and observe her pupil once again. Do you notice any change in the size of the pupil? In which case was the pupil larger? Why do you think it was so? In which case do you need to allow more light in the eye when the light is dim or bright? Behind the pupil of the eye is a lens which is thicker in the center. What kind of lens is thicker at the center? Recall what you have learnt about lenses in class 7. The lens focuses light on the back of the eye on a layer called retina. The retina contains several nerve cells. Sensations felt by the nerve cells are then transmitted to the brain through the optic nerve. There are two kinds of cells. Cones, which are sensitive to bright light, and rods, which are sensitive to dim light. Cones sense color. At the junction of the optic nerve and the retina, there are no sensory cells, so no vision is possible at that spot. This is called the blind spot. Its existence can be demonstrated as follows. Activity 13.9. Make a round mark and a cross on a sheet of paper with the spot to the right of the cross. The distance between two marks may be 6 to 8 cm. Hold the sheet of paper at an arm's length from the eye. Close your left eye. Look continuously at the cross. Move the sheet slowly towards you, keeping your eye on the cross. What do you find? Does the round mark disappear at some point? Now close your right eye. Look at the round mark now and repeat the activity. Does the cross disappear? The disappearance of the cross or the round mark shows that there is a point on the retina which cannot send messages to the brain when light falls on it. The impression of an image does not vanish immediately from the retina. It persists there for about 1/16th of the second. So if still images of a moving object are flashed on the eye at a rate faster than 16 per second, then the eye perceives the object as moving. Activity 13.10. Get a square piece of cardboard of size 6 to 8 cm. Make two holes as shown in figure 13.16. Thread a string through the two holes. Paste a cage on one side of the cardboard and a bird on the other side. Twist the string and make the card twirl rapidly. Do you see the bird in the cage? The movies that we see are actually a number of separate pictures in proper sequence. They are made to move across the eye usually at the rate of 24 pictures per second faster than 16 per second, so we see a moving picture. Nature has provided eyes with eyelids to prevent any object from entering the eye. Eyelids also shut out light when not required. Eye is such a wonderful instrument that it normal can clearly see distant objects as well as objects nearby. The minimum distance at which the eye can see objects distinctly varies with age. The most comfortable distance at which one can read with a normal eye is about 25 centimeters. Some persons can see objects close to them clearly but cannot see distant objects so clearly. On the other hand, some persons cannot see objects nearby clearly but they can see distant objects quite well. With suitable corrective lenses, these defects of the eye can be corrected. Sometimes, particularly in old age, eyesight becomes foggy. It is due to the eye lens becoming cloudy. When it happens, persons are said to have cataract. There is a loss of vision, sometimes extremely severe. It is possible to treat this defect. The opaque lens is removed and a new artificial lens is inserted. Modern technology has made this procedure simpler and safer. Care of the eyes. It is necessary that you take proper care of your eyes. If there is any problem, you should go to an eye specialist. Have a regular checkup. If advised, use suitable spectacles. Too little or too much light is bad for eyes. Insufficient light causes eye strain and headaches. Too much light, like that of the sun, a powerful lamp or a laser torch, can injure the retina. Do not look at the sun or a powerful light directly. Never rub your eyes. If particles of dust go into your eyes, wash your eyes with clean water. If there is no improvement, go to a doctor. Always read at the normal distance for vision. Do not read by bringing the book too close to your eyes or keeping it too far. You learnt about balanced diet in class 6. If food is deficient in some components, eyes may also suffer. Lack of vitamin A in foodstuff is responsible for many eye troubles. Most common amongst them is night blindness. One should therefore include in the diet components which have vitamin A. Raw carrots, broccoli and green vegetables such as spinach and cod liver oil are rich in vitamin A. Eggs, milk, curd, cheese, butter and fruits such as papaya and mango are also rich in vitamin A. Did you know? Animals have eyes shaped in different ways. Eyes of a crab are quite small but they enable the crab to look all around. So the crab can sense even if the enemy approaches from behind. Butterflies have large eyes that seem to be made up of thousands of little eyes. They can see not only in the front of and the sides but the back as well. A night bird owl can see very well in the night but not during the day. On the other hand, daylight birds like kite or eagle can see well during the day but not in the night. The owl has a large cornea and a large pupil to allow more light in its eye. Also, it has on its retina a larger number of rods and only a few cones. The day birds, on the other hand, have more cones and fewer rods. Visually impaired persons can read and write. Some persons, including children, can be visually impaired. They have very limited vision to see things. Some persons cannot see at all since birth. Some persons may lose their eyesight because of a disease or an injury. Such persons try to identify things by touching and listening to voices more carefully. They develop their other senses more sharply. However, additional resources can enable them to develop their capabilities further. Non-optical and optical aids for visually impaired. Non-optical aids include visual aids, tactual aids using the sense of touch, auditory aids using the sense of hearing, and electronic aids. Visual aids can magnify words, can provide suitable intensity of light and material at proper distances. Tactual aids include braille writers, slate, and stylus. Help the visually challenged person in taking notes, reading, and writing. Auditory aids include cassette, tape recorders, talking books, and other such devices. Electronic aids such as talking calculators and computers are also available for performing many computational tasks. Closed circuit television, also an electronic aid, enlarges printed materials with suitable contrast and illumination. Nowadays, use of audio CDs and voice boxes with computers are also very helpful for listening to and writing the desired text. Optical aids include bifocal lenses, contact lenses, tinted lenses, magnifiers, and telescopic aids. While the lens combinations are used to rectify visual limitations, telescopic aids are available to view chalkboard and class demonstrations. What is the Braille system? The most popular resource for visually challenged persons is Braille. Louis Braille, himself a visually challenged person, developed a system for visually challenged persons and published it in 1821. The present system was adopted in 1932. There is Braille code for common languages, mathematics, and scientific notation. Many Indian languages can be read using the Braille system. Braille system has 63 dot patterns or characters. Each character represents a letter, a combination of letters, a common word, or a grammatical sign. Dots are arranged in cells of 2 vertical rows of 3 dots each. Patterns of dots to represent some English letters and some common words are shown below. Here you can see the dot patterns in the Braille system. These patterns, when embossed on Braille sheets, help visually challenged persons to recognize words by touching. To make them easier to touch, the dots are raised slightly. Visually impaired people learn the Braille system by beginning with letters, then special characters and letter combinations. Methods depend upon recognition by touching. Each character has to be memorized. Braille text can be produced by hand or by machine. Typewriter-like devices and printing machines have now been developed. Some visually impaired Indians have great achievements to their credit. Divakar, a child prodigy, has given amazing performances as a singer. Ravindra Jain, born completely visually impaired, obtained his Sangeet Prabhakar degree from Allahabad. He had shown his excellence as a lyricist, singer, and music composer. Lal Advani, himself visually impaired, established an association for special education and rehabilitation of disabled in India. Besides this, he represented India on Braille problems in UNESCO. Helen A. Keller, an American author and lecturer, is perhaps the most well-known and inspiring visually challenged person. She lost her sight when she was only 18 months old, but because of her resolve and courage, she could complete her graduation from a university. She wrote a number of books including The Story of My Life 1903. This was the second part of our chapter 13 Light. If you have any doubt or query, you can ask me in the comment section below, and you can find the link to the first part and the other chapters in the description box below. Thank you everyone.